Hey, you Broken World Entertainment, and this will be the non-spoiler review for Episode 3 of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I have no idea what days this show is coming out on. It must be Wednesdays. I'm not sure when the first two came out. I just happened to see that they were out on Friday. So I'm going to say they come out on Wednesday because it seems to be there now, and there seems to be a few reviews on it. So Wednesdays, I guess, or Thursdays, I should say, the reviews will come out for this. So we'll go into this episode. First off, yes, Godzilla is in this episode as well. Very briefly, it's actually the flashback. Well, not Kate's flashbacks. The flashbacks of when we go back to the 50s. And the interesting thing about the scene with Godzilla is it actually goes to the scene we get at the opening credits of the 2014 movie Godzilla. When you see the files of Monarch on the screen, you know, while the credits are going, and we see Godzilla getting new. Well, that scene is in the show. The interesting thing about the scene, though, is it seems to lead to them thinking they actually killed Godzilla. Now, they didn't know he was Godzilla at this stage. It's the US military want to try and destroy the Titan before it emerges in the States. And the way that comes about is that Shaw and Keiko and Billy have to try and convince the government to give them plutonium to lure the creatures out. They start to understand that they're thinking anyway that they're feeding on the radiation, and that's why they're somewhat emitting it. And when they arrive to an island, I can't remember the name of the Bikini something, they see basically an atom bomb up on a stand. And when Shaw goes to question is he a general? I think he's general. About, I don't think he understood what we meant by we need plutonium. And the general's like, you should have been more specific. They were taking it based on the fact that he said to get the plutonium in the first place, we need something to stop the threat. We need to understand the threat. And it would be better to be done here than in the States. And the way they show the general what is possibly out there is they bring him into this big hangar, and he looks down, and they've taken what appears to be Godzilla's footprint in a big clay sample. So that's what the majority of jumping back in time segments are. It's them trying to convince the military to give them plutonium to lure out the Titans. Now, they didn't know it was going to be Godzilla, but to lure out the Titans, to examine the Titans. The US military blow them up. At least they think they did. And the other scene with them in the flashback is after that. Oh, and Keiko tries to... Keiko, not Kenko. Kenko's Star Trek. Keiko tries to stop them detonating the bomb, and Shaw stops her. And she's devastated by this. The fact that they think they've killed Godzilla. And William is trying to talk to her and say, the government couldn't be trusted, blah, blah, blah. And that they just attacked what they didn't understand type stuff. And Shaw comes up and says, he went to the general and told him, he goes, we may as well shoot for the moon for funding, and asked him for team funding, more people and all this type of stuff. And the general told him no, and then proceeded to tell him no, because you're not asking for enough. They basically gave them a blank check. But Keiko wants to know, is there some of these Titans we don't tell the general about? And Shaw's like, well, I can't not tell my superior officer. And the way he gets around it is to say, I can only tell him what you tell me. So if you think it's worth telling, you'll tell me, right? Kind of that way. So that's how they're going to get around doing that. When we're back with older Shaw, Kurt Russell Shaw, and Kate, and the rest of them, May, and what was his name, Kentaro, they are going to break out of this facility, the Monarch facility. It turns out their father did work for Monarch, as did the majority of their family. But as Shaw tells them, Monarch has changed. It's not what it started out to be. Now, it doesn't quite make clear whether or not it means sections of Monarch or all of Monarch. It almost sounds like all of Monarch has gone corrupt, which I don't know if that would be the case, seeing as the likes of King of Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong, Monarch weren't evil or anything. They were actually just studying and working with Godzilla and stuff like that. So I'm curious as to whether or not we're going to find out whether they're talking about a section of it or not, or whether it's all of it. And don't forget, when we're with older Shaw and Kate and stuff, we're in 2015, so we're a year after Godzilla emerged in San Francisco. Kurt Russell as Shaw is great. There's elements of Jack Burton in him, and you know what good old Jack always says? He says, "What the hell?" There truly is elements of it. Like, he jumps into the car, he's like, "Give me the keys, I'm driving." And they're like, "When's the last time you drove?" And he's like, "Give me the keys." And he gets in, he's sitting there, and he's like, "Where the hell did the keys go?" And they're like, "When's the last time you drove?" And he's like, "Press the button." Like, "Button?" And it's very Jack Burton. And even when they can't get through the little barriers that come up, he's like, "You've got car insurance, don't you?" And they're like, "Yeah, why?" And he just goes plowing through everything. They're like, "Jesus, like, you're like shocking at driving." And he starts laughing. Kate says that, and he starts laughing at Kate and it's like, "You've never driven with your grandmother." Because of course one of the scenes we got with him and Keiko was her driving, and like, she drives like a mad one, and he gets them out of Japan onto a ship without having to be checked for passports or anything like that, and they're on their way to Korea, and they're gonna get a flight from Korea to Alaska. They know they're gonna have to go to Alaska to try and find Kate's and Kataro's father, and he has it set up that he's gonna meet someone in Korea who can get them through customs and stuff without passports. And it looks like it's going wrong, but it doesn't. One of your man that's meant to meet them is there and gets them. They go to Alaska. They find a plane that's down. It's their father's plane. It's in bits. There's a body in the cockpit, only one, but it's not the father. Then they find a tent just over a hill, and there's like documents and stuff, and it's their father's handwriting on it. They told a story earlier about how he used to drive people nuts. Like Shaw was saying, he used to write so much that he would write down to the stub of the pencil. And Kate says, yeah, he used to sharpen it down with a knife and leave the shavings all over the place, and it would drive her mother nuts. And they find the pencil and all the shavings, and they're like, "He's alive." That was my phone. He's alive. While they're in the tent, the guy who got all of them out of Korea and to there, I don't think they said what his name was, but he's a friend of Shaw's. He's kind of scouring around the wreckage of the plane, and he's picking up pieces, inspecting them, and he finds this rope, and he pulls the rope, and it's basically a landing rope to brake the plane. Like on aircraft carriers, when they land, you catch the wire. Well, same kind of principle with this, because they're landing in snow. And he says, like, "That's strange, it landed safely." And he goes back up to a part of the wreckage, and he opens his door, looks, and he immediately starts screaming, "We're going, we gotta leave right now." And there's 4 scratches down the side, and he gets into the plane, and he starts the plane, and they're running down, and the ground starts cracking around them, and this new Titan comes out. This is another Titan we've seen in the trailer. It's the weird, I don't know what way to explain it. It's like a normal kind of creature body, but with these kind of tentacle mouth type thing. This thing seems to be able to suck the air out from around you, and as it's doing it, it instantly freezes, and it freezes the guy who brought them there and kills him. And while they're all standing there with this thing now looking at them, that's where the episode ends. This episode as well is also the shot in the trailer you get with Godzilla with the camera running from his tail up his back. That is when he comes out of the water to have a look at the bomb on the island. That's where that scene, so that scene is in this episode as well. Another good episode. Again, the special effects in this is fantastic. Godzilla looked great for the brief moment you see him. This new Titan looked cool as shit as well. Even the plane, you know how dodgy planes can look when they use CGI planes and stuff. Even the plane looked great, especially when it lands and it stops abruptly in front of the camera. Looks great. The effects, top notch. Again, the music, great as well. Kurt Russell, fantastic as well. May didn't really have too much to do. She starts screaming that she's going to piss her pants when they're trying to land the plane, because all of a sudden they hit a storm out of nowhere, and Kurt Russell's the one who's going to land the plane, and has an interesting way of having like an altitude detector, because all their equipment goes nuts when they hit the storm. So another strong episode. More kind of secrets starting to get revealed. You know, the fact that we find out that yes, their father did work for Monarch, but it's not the Monarch they started working for. We meet someone new who seems to be a head person in Monarch. Apparently the Monarch fella Tim went rogue, that he wasn't actually supposed to be going looking for these files and people, but the woman with him, I'm not sure if she's the one that's actually called Deval, or whether the other one is called, I'm pretty sure she's the one that's Deval, the one that's with him. She gets a phone call to say that they found Shaw at Korea, but they managed to get away. And it's interesting because there seems to be maybe somebody helping them at the beginning to escape the Monarch facility, the place that's like a retirement home. I won't spoil that. You'll see what I mean if you see it. Yeah, again, another really good, strong episode. I liked it a lot. I think it's pushing the story forward, and we're seeing really where kind of their thought process for the Titans went, and just how long they knew about them. Oh, and they get asked about, they asked Kurt Russell, like, Shaw, hey, how long? Because they said, when did Monarch start? And he's like, around 45 or so. And May says, I think it's May says something like, that would make you like 90. He's like, yeah, good genes, I guess. And that's when they ask about their father working with Monarch and stuff. So you find out Monarch started basically in the 40s. Maybe they started before that. Don't know. Oh, and you hear the name being said of Sarazawa, which was interesting. Especially when we know that he was a good guy. He even sacrificed himself for Godzilla. Anyway, that's the episode 3. As I said, it won't dive too much into the stuff to get spoilers. You know, there's not really that much to spoil in this one, but it moves the story forward. We're continuing, worked again with the way they did the flashbacks and present day being 2015. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. 3 episodes in, I'm giving it a thumbs up. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.